Tonight, we go on the air. Intensifying missile attacks are pounding the Gaza Strip, part of an escalating conflict that has the world holding its breath, fearing a new war in the Middle East could erupt at any moment. Tensions between the Israelis and Palestinians are threatening to boil over in a region still destabilized from the Arab Spring. ABC's global affairs anchor Christiane Amanpour reports from a Middle East on the brink. Christiane?
Cynthia, tonight I can tell you Jerusalem, where I am, is extremely tense. Here and around the world, everyone is watching to see who will make the next move in this increasingly deadly game of chess in the Holy Land. The last time there was this kind of violence was 4 years ago, when Israel conducted an air and ground invasion of Gaza. It lasted 3 weeks and left more than 1,000 people dead. After days of tit-for-tat attacks between Israel and Palestinians in Gaza, the Israeli military stepped up, launching what they call Operation Pillar of Defense. Its first target was Ahmad al-Jabari, a military chief for Hamas, the Islamic political party that governs the Gaza Strip, which Israel and the West call a terrorist organization. The Israeli Defense Forces proudly hailed his assassination, releasing this poster. But his death was just the beginning. 5 of the Palestinians killed so far were children, including this 11-month-old baby held in the arms of his father, a local journalist for the BBC, who asked, "What did my son do to die like this?" This morning, a Hamas leader vowed revenge, telling reporters, "Israel started this war, but they will never know its end. Our rockets will hit Tel Aviv. We have a plan in place and they will regret what they did." And Hamas made good on that threat, launching a rocket attack on Tel Aviv, Israel's largest city, where residents crouched in fear. Tonight, Israeli troops were seen making their way to the Gaza border, a grim indication that a ground war may be next. This battle, which is playing out against the background of an impending election in Israel, is the worst fighting the region has seen in years. The last time rockets threatened Tel Aviv was during the 1991 Gulf War, when Saddam Hussein's Scud missiles hit the city. And tonight, tensions inside Gaza remain high, as my colleague Alex Marquardt found out.
The distinct mushroom cloud of an Israeli missile strike met us as we arrived in Gaza at sunset.
It's eerily quiet here. Of all my trips to Gaza, this is definitely the quietest I've seen it. Very few people in the streets. All the homes and shops are closed up. Everyone seems to be hunkered down inside.
For good reason. Israel has so far targeted 300 sites in Gaza. The missiles rain down with loud thuds if they're far away, deafening booms if they're close.
This is what the aftermath of one of these strikes looks like. A massive crater filled with cinder block and rebar, the strong smell of diesel fuel. Several of the houses around were damaged very badly, and the residents here on this street tell us they hope Hamas and the other groups will keep firing rockets into Israel in retaliation.
A crowd of men was gathered outside one of the houses. We met 30-year-old Amar El-Bana, who said the strike felt like an earthquake. They're targeting civilians and kids, he said, calling on Hamas and the other militant groups to hit back hard.
Back in Washington, President Obama has been having calls with leaders across the Middle East.
I want to express my appreciation once again to President Obama for his unequivocal, clear-sighted support for Israel's right to defend itself.
Here in Israel, the government has taken this battle to social media. Its official Twitter feed has blasted out threats to Hamas. It warned yesterday that no Hamas operatives, whether low-level or senior leaders, show their faces above ground in the days ahead. Hamas fired back with this tweet: "Our blessed hands will reach your leaders and soldiers wherever they are. You opened hell gates on yourselves." Just days after winning re-election, the president is now faced with a widening conflict that has the potential to destabilize an already unstable region.
I think the number one word at the White House today was containment. They want to contain this crisis because they can imagine scenarios where it gets much more out of control than it has already.
This is the first Israel-Palestinian conflict of the new Middle East. The Arab Spring has raised all sorts of new questions for the United States. For instance, its friend Egypt used to be able to keep the peace in this region. Will Egypt's new Islamist president do the same? And of course, the Arab Spring means that Arab allies are now much more answerable to their own street, their own people. So of course, in the United States and here in the region, everyone is hoping this is over quickly. No one can afford a wider war.